Hi, this is Zach here with the bulletin board heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Wednesday, the 13th of March. Starting off with the FTSE 100, which is broken out of this little triangle there, a very pretty triangle that we had there of 7,700. Above that, we're looking for 7,850 or 60 even by the end of this month, giving it a bit of time. We break back below 7,700 and that broken February line, then the 50-day line, 7630 is the worst we are thinking about at the moment. The reason for that is that we've had three bounces for the RSI off neutral 50, which is rather more than we normally get with the FTSE 100. We'd like to get even one, so that all of those are leading indicators on the upside, suggesting something positive may be happening. But obviously, as you can see, basically we've been stuck in a range doing nothing for over a year on the UK index. No such problems for the DAX, which I believe has hit a new record high today. Amazing, is what one could say, especially compared to the FTSE here. We were looking for this market to break 17,900 on an end-of-day close basis and then head up to that the top of that October rising trend channel as high as 18,500. And that could happen now by the end of this month. On the downside, not expecting anything worse than 17,600, which is basically the March support. If we do have a nightmare, then it would be to head back down to fill that gap from February, 17,200, and hit the floor of that rising October trend channel. Moving along to the Dow, and here the situation basically one of ongoing strength. If I can type in the right market here, you can see that basically what's happened is that the rising trend channel was slightly wider than we were thinking, probably more of an angle like that, and therefore all we need now is to break the resistance line there from February around 39,000, which we've done on an end-of-day close basis, but then follow through on that and head towards at least 40,000 by the end of this month. We could be in a higher trajectory, or a steeper trajectory up towards 41,000, but probably it's a bit early to go for that. On to Bitcoin, which has done everyone proud who likes the crypto space. New record highs as well through 73,000. We were looking for this market to head up to 80,000 or 81,000 by the end of next month. The way things are going, we could even manage that by the end of this month, well ahead of the halving at the end of April. On the downside now, not expecting much below the recent swing low support, 67,500, and the floor of that channel there from January, which is about at the same level. So above 67, looking for 81 plus on Bitcoin. Moving on to gold, which has finally woken up, did wake out of its slumber. We hit the top of that rising trend channel from March last year, 2190. We've come back rather painfully today. The old resistance there around 2150, so hoping that old resistance will become new support, and then we can then make progress towards that red July resistance line projection 2260 by the end of next month. But obviously the key here is holding above that 2150 area. Moving on to the stocks, and one of the punters' favourites is coming up to start, which is Barron Oil. Here you can see that we're still bumping along the bottom. We want an end-of-day close really above the top of that gap there, 067. If we can do that, then we're looking for the 200-day moving average at 084. But the way things are, a little bit slow despite the bullish divergence there. So the lower low to start March, but uptrend line in the RSI windows. That is why I'm including the stock today. On to a stock which is doing rather better, Cambridge Nutritional, just nearly up to our target line there, the April resistance line there from last year, 3.2 pence above that. We're looking for this stock to head up to the upper parallel of that broadening triangle from April, as high as 4 pence by the end of next month, or hopefully a bit sooner than that, given the way that now we have both the 50 and 200-day lines rising, and we've also had a sideways shuffle above a rising 50-day line without having to touch that 50-day line. That's hence to be one of the best signals around, so it wouldn't even be surprising to hit 4p by the end of this month, while we remain above that 50-day line at 2.6 pence. Haven't looked at capital metals or talked to capital metals for quite some time, but here it looks as though we are ready to deliver a new leg to the upside. Up to this a bit of a punchy call, but we bounced off the 200-day line, which is now rising, and we've gone through the 50-day line, 3.1 pence, above the floor of that rising trend channel from June, around 2.8 pence, looking for up to 6.5 pence perhaps as soon as the end of next month. Onto a stock which has also done us proud in the recent past. We've got GCM Resources. We were looking for initially around 4.6 pence, and obviously the shares blew the doors off. Next target was 9.2 pence, which is just about where we are, and obviously we've broken that as well. The best case here would be up to 11 pence by the end of the month, which is a February 2021 resistance line projection. Upside value while we hold above, I suppose, the 8 pence level, which was the old initial 2021 peak for that particular stock. Onto HeliumOne, which gives us excitement almost every day. Here the plus point is that we've managed to start sort of hugging that rising 50-day line, which is a positive. That's around 1.4 pence. The longer we stay above that, the greater the chance of at least a move up to 2.1 pence over by the end of this month. The big win would be if we could break that line from February at 2.1 pence. That could then take us back to the highs. On the downside, the risk is that below 1.2 pence, we have to test the floor of that falling trend channel from January at 0.85, but it looks as though so far that scenario will not happen. On to Itaconix, which I think I'm one of the few people who look at this situation. Here we had found the shares blast that rather optimistic target we had for the shares around £2.33, and heading for the even more optimistic target of £3, hopefully by the end of this month. You can see that we've actually also broken through the June resistance there, 265. So above 265 on an end of day close, £3 looks pretty well baked on. Moving on to Libertine, which, as I said yesterday, I think is trying to resume its February rally. Rather, here we are clinging to the 200-day line. That's at 4 pence above that, looking for a retest of 7.5 pence well before the end of next month. With Mosman, we've had one of our favorite setups, the sideways shuffle, working well. Sideways shuffle means that you are bouncing at or above a rising 50-day moving average, and we had the break now through recent resistance around the 0.18 pence level, and looking for 0.31 by the end of this month. So the candles there and everything else shaping up quite nicely. On to Neometals, which has been an unlikely winner over the recent past. Here you can see that we were in a potential broadening triangle base, and that's why, well, the initial target here was 10 pence, which looks as though we'll get pretty soon, the next day or two. The next target is up to the upper parallel of that triangle, as high as 14 pence, and maybe that could happen by the end of this month. On to Premier African, which I don't think has an announcement recently, which maybe it's like 8 or 9 days, which seems like an eternity. People getting withdrawal symptoms, but here we've had a rebound for the shares, a double rebound for the shares off a rising 50-day line, so that puts us on alert for a decent upside, at least in the near term, looking for 0.41 pence, but ideally with that kind of setup it should be up to 0.6 by the end of next month. But let's see if the stock can deliver the goods. On to a surprise bit of price action here with quantum blockchain. Here we actually hit our initial target there at 1.73. In fact, we overshot it, which was great yesterday and the day before. But today the rug's been pulled. What will be interesting is to see whether, a bit like the HeliumOne situation, whether we can hold the 50-day moving average. That's at 1.2 pence here. Above that, then we can go and retest the 1.8, 1.9 area. But otherwise, we might have to go back and test the multi-tested 1 pence area. Finishing off with an unlikely inclusion, which is Seraphim, and here rising trend channel since October. You can see that the shares have been bouncing above a rising 50-day line, so that's a leading indicator on the upside. And we've broken recent neckline resistance of 54 pence above that, looking for as high as 72 pence by the end of this month. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.